the 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Chi Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
leonbag93.
Are you thinking? Are you saying like space and time, or like on a physics picture? Is talking about like Einstein's space-time?
Yeah, the claim of space-time. Yeah.
Oh well, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. It's totally outside my my field of understanding.
Okay, so they basically just have a belief about it then. That's cool. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I would say that I believe in the work of other people. In that, yes. But here's the thing, and I mean, sorry if I get back to my personal field. In this case, the part of translation studies. In there is two different words for belief in Italian. The one is the word for, like, we use religious belief, which is il credo, which literally means like belief, like in God.
A faith.
A faith, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there is, for example, if you have your son playing a game and you want to cheer him up and say, "I believe in you. Come on, go on. I believe in you." That's obviously not the same sense of the word.
No, of
And
course.
we
It
have,
depends where you use the actual word belief in your sentence. Yeah.
yeah, no,
It
and I'm
varies, of
just
course,
saying
but
that in Italian we have different for that, which is fiducia, which is like I believe in for example, I believe in a skill set that I know that you have because I witnessed it. And so I would say that my belief in what physicists say is of the second type, not of the first type. It's not like a religious belief. It's something that comes from my understanding that through the work of science, we have achieved what we have achieved so far. And thus, I believe that the, let's say, masterminds, quite ironically, behind certain theories, well, have gained my trust. Like, let's say trust, not belief.
yeah, you trusted them enough to believe what they are telling you is true, yeah? But you don't actually know it by yourself firsthand.
No, exactly. As I don't know what medicine, what a drug will do to me. Although I go to the doctor, and if he prescribes me a drug, I will take it. Well,
Sure.
sometimes I take a second opinion. Of course, I mean, if I think I have a capacity to say, you know, that drug seems quite excessive to me. Perhaps I don't need it, and so I take perhaps a second opinion. But if
Yeah.
2 or 3 doctors tell me, yes, you need a drug, I don't know how the drug works, but I will take it.
Yeah, but you can also read up on your own, do your own research about this certain drug. Look at the,
Ingredients.
tests they have done. Yeah, well, ingredients, but the tests even they have to test the drugs before they release them. They can't just release any
Yeah,
kind
of
of drug
course.
out in the
Yeah,
public,
yeah, absolutely.
on the go.
Yeah,
So
but
you,
I can't. Of course I can,
I mean, you would
and
owe it to
sometimes
yourself to,
I actually do.
research all that. When it comes to your
Yeah,
health and
like
to your own
for
health.
example, I did that for example, when it came to the vaccine for the COVID. I was into the debate about the vaccine, and when I read. Fortunately, I am quite fluent in English, and I could read on PubMed, and I read all the articles that I found, and I read all the experiments, of course. But for example, when it comes to, oh, this particular ingredient, this is the effect that it has on your physiology. Well, that I have to give for granted, because unless I'm not there witnessing the administration of that particular ingredient or particular drug, and then see the effects, I necessarily have to trust what it's written. Or what I can do, of course, is following a sound academic procedure, is to go read all the papers on the matter and so see, do all articles agree that that particular ingredient has this effect on your physiology? Yes, no, and you can check like that. But then again, it's always something that you have to concede to the experts in that field at, at at a level or another.
Yep. I mean, you do sound like you're capable of doing your own research, but all right.
Well,
So
I hope
back to
so. I'm a
back to the
I'm a
topic.
PhD student. I really hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I won't get there.
No, that's fine. That's good. You should be have critical thinking at some level. You're just not being gullible and just believing blindly in anything. You shouldn't be doing that at all.
No, no, absolutely. That do agree, and
Skepticism is healthy in a way also.
which is why I really enjoy the the flat Earth debate. And trust me, I what the last thing that I want is to sound somewhat ironical in some way. I'm absolutely not. Uh, I truly believe that most problems that comes in debates, the flat Earth, um, does does not concern the arguments per se. I truly believe that polarization in this particular situation plays a major role. And then you have, for example, from the globe earthers side, you have people that are very keen on being patronizing, uh, and on the other side, given this patronizing behavior by those that base their opinion and their arguments on the mainstream, let's say,
Mm.
they become keen on being very adversarial and sometimes aggressive, and so there is this ping pong effect that creates polarization. But everything for me, at least for what I've witnessed, comes down to there is a particular party that is unconvinced of a particular description of reality. And if you tackle this uncertainty, this skepticism, by being patronizing, uh, you are being the one in the wrong. Because being skeptic is the null position. I don't care if there is a mainstream position. I don't care if I also believe that the evidence for a globe Earth is absolutely clear. I really don't care. The moment you start being patronizing, you're in the wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna share only your opinions about certain things, of course, that's not gonna prove anything at all. But so, what do you feel like is your number one evidence or proof of the globe that actually, solidifies your belief? I guess, or if you know it is a globe, so please do share with us. I would like
Uh,
to know.
well, I have to say I cannot I cannot boast of having done many observations on this cut personally. I have done a couple of times an observation of the International Space Station passing in front of the moon. Uh, well, in front is quite a
Yeah, we're talking about whether or not the ground we stand upon is a dirt ball covered in water.
yeah. Okay.
You said that was clear that that's the case. That's all.
What was clear?
That there's a globe.
Oh yeah, and I mean that
So
no.
why
Well,
so why point to the sky?
what my particular sentence was that I don't care how clear you believe about the globe Earth. If you're being patronizing, you're in the wrong.
Yeah,
That
okay. You
was
said it
it
was.
an
You
hypothetical.
said to you it was clear, and then you were
I took
asked to provide evidence, and you pointed to the sky.
Yeah, I pointed to the sky because obviously it was like a chain thing, since I do believe that what I've seen is the International Space Station, and since as an Italian, what I can boast is one particular astronaut being up there, and an astronaut that has
Stop the cap.
is not the cap or the cat. I didn't get that.
Yeah, just the soundboard in the background. Just don't pay much attention to it.
No, I mean, if I can say that perhaps at least evidence for me for globe Earth is a number of pictures and videos that have been done.
Okay, that's reasonable coming from the globe side. As everyone that comes in this server, especially, we hear this is pretty common. You know, videos,
Mhm.
pictures. This is the main evidence for them, I guess, if you want to call it that. But don't you feel like you should be able to, at first-hand experience, be able to verify anything about the globe itself? Do you have any idea what you can do to verify at first-hand
Well,
experience?
I know the experiments that can be done. I remember I've seen a focal pendulum, but that's a question that has to do with motion, not necessarily with shape, I believe.
Are you talking about the focal pendulum,
Yeah.
the main one, mainstream one?
Well, also the reproduction. Well, I know the one that was exposed, I believe, in Paris the first time. I believe was in Paris. I don't remember. But the experiment itself that showing that there is a rotation.
Okay, so you believe the Earth is initiating that rotation, or who's doing that, or what?
Initiating, well, I
Does it move on its
wouldn't know.
own when it's placed there, or does someone else move it initially?
I think that Earth has a rotation. I wouldn't know who or what, but I don't believe in who. But I don't know if there is something particular that has initiated. The,
I would just asking because I want to see how much you have read about it, or how much you know about it. The demonstration
well, I
of
know
the
that it
focal
has
pendulum.
about the focal pendulum. I know that it has to do with the rotation of Earth, and then depending on what latitude you're in, you have different movements done by the pendulum. Well, I wouldn't be able to give numbers about it. Obviously, I just witnessed it.
So, do you feel like it's following the scientific method, that very demonstration, the focal pendulum?
I believe that focal pendulum is. Was that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
Okay,
the
scientific
focal
method. Since
pendulum is an experiment. The focal pendulum is an experiment.
okay,
Obviously,
could you explain the scientific method?
the scientific method.
The steps of it, basically.
Well, you have the observation of a
Oh,
phenomenon. That's the first part.
did you have to fucking mute me, man? Jesus Christ. 'Cause I've been sitting talking, I thought my phone was fucked again, man.
I don't know who muted you. Sorry, Spake.
You could have told me,
who-
man.
You should have texted in the, in the chat if no one heard you. But okay, all right.
So the observation is the first thing. You observe
Yeah.
a phenomenon. Then you have, I believe, to hypothesize. what's behind that phenomenon.
and then construct
that
your
you do an
experiment
experiment.
based on, yeah, man, you construct it to redo what you've seen in nature. So that's what you're trying to recreate,
Yeah,
what you've seen in nature. Where that's where Cavendish falls right at the very first hurdle.
there are experiments that can be done to confirm a particular hypothesis. And so, for example, after the experiment has been done, you have a thesis, and you have to prove that thesis through experimentation. And so, what you do is an experiment in which you isolate as far as possible a particular
Your cause.
variable.
Yeah,
Yes, the
isolate your
cause.
cause, then manipulate it. That'd be your IV, and then your DV would change if you're correct in your hypothesis that changing whatever
Yeah, okay.
on
Yeah,
the
I'm
construction.
trying. Yes, I was independent. You're speaking about independent and dependent variable, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, that's what would be left after your construction. Like you've
Yeah,
recreated what
absolutely.
you've
You
seen in
have to.
nature. But
Yeah, of course.
but,
You
but
have
the
to isolate
pendulum,
the
bro, the
independent
pendulum
variables.
and Cavendish, neither of them are scientific experiments, brother. Eh? That's what I was trying to tell the other
Why,
guy, but he just wouldn't listen.
why not? Why
Because
not?
they've not got IVs, they've not got a valid hypothesis, they've not got a valid observation that the hypothesis is based on.
So the
You could call it a test, like it is a test, I suppose, or it's a
yes,
colloquial using experiment colloquially, but no, the brass bones, the scientific method specifically dictates exactly how to construct an experiment, and it's really strict. There's like no deviation from it. It is what it is. It's not about belief. It's not about agreeing with shit. You just construct it how the scientific method states. And it's not about you believing in stuff or having faith that stuff that you've been told is true, because you're actually going to do it yourself and you're going to establish a cause and effect relationship, and you'll back what you thought in the first place, or you won't.
okay. So the fact is, if you isolate, so the pendulum obviously has to be put in a particular context, in a particular system. You have to, of course, avoid any kind of interference, such as, well, wind is the first that comes to me. And given the hypothesis that the rotation of the Earth, given
Right.
the functioning of the pendulum,
Yeah.
will give particular results,
But
So since
then
you
you have a
what about
test.
since you said no interference, does magnets count? Because that's how it's run by magnets.
it started and it's run, like, so it doesn't start itself. You
A
can't just
pendulum,
hang the pendulum, bro. Listen to this, right? You can't just hang the pendulum and get the effect. You need to start it motion. So you need to put energy into the system to get it moving. Then, as Hoss said, there's magnets like on the course that
yes,
the
of course
pendulum
you have to.
swings round,
Yes,
and
of course you have to. Of course you have to
yeah,
give
but there's
start
also
the
more.
motion.
But bro, there's
But
also more energy put into the system to keep it going. So it's not like these things run perpetually because the Earth is supposedly spinning. If that was the case, mate, we could make a perpetual motion engine and use the Coriolis effect as power. That would mean we'd have an endless supply of electricity. We could just set up some kind of dynamo or something, and we could
can you
harness the Earth's rotation.
can you build a pendulum, in your opinion, that will, of course, run of energy in time, but
Yeah,
that
but it won't
will.
run for itself. So if the Earth was truly spinning and there was such a thing as a Coriolis effect, surely that would mean that even if it was minuscule, surely there would be something that you could register that you're picking up energy and gaining motion of some contraption.
What
But you don't.
what
The
what would
case.
you say? What would you say is the reason that that the focal pendulum change the direction um, of its motion relative to
Well, the
an
Elias
observer in
effect you're
proximity?
talking about. You're talking about the Elias effect, no?
I'm just asking a question. What
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But when you said changing direction, you're on about the Elias effect, because supposedly under eclipses, the pendulums swing the opposite way. Supposedly, I hear a lot of globers refusing to accept that, but I have read stuff about it for quite a while ago now. But again, back to my initial point, if there was Coriolis effect, if it was like verifiable in nature, then we could harness that. Even if it was the tiniest little bit of energy, it could still be harnessed. And it could be scaled up to fucking mind-boggling proportion, and we could harness energy. But we can't.
This is absolutely out of my sphere of competence, and I'm not using sphere to be ironic. Uh, so I have no idea. I wouldn't know how to harness any type of energy.
No, I'm not saying you would, bro, but surely scientists, if there was a Coriolis effect and it was a real thing and it did cause objects to move and keep moving, but we know that it doesn't anyway because we have to start it and we have to keep it going. But if
but
it was possible and if there was
let,
an effect, energy, we could harness it. I'm not saying you have to build it,
no, no,
but
of course,
scientists
no,
can
no.
build fucking
I
anything, man.
understand. Can I ask you something just on a totally different note? But I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
a
go.
linguist and I'm interested in this thing. Where are you
Yeah.
from? Because your accent is amazing.
Oh, do you not guess it? Can you not guess? Surely. Don't say I'm fucking from South Africa, because I had that a couple of weeks ago. Are you from South Africa, mate? I'm like, come on, man. I've had Australian,
Okay.
Irish. I'm Scottish,
So
bro.
I didn't catch where you're from. Sorry.
Scottish, Scotland.
Oh, Scotland. Oh, great.
Freedom.
Uh, I'm sorry, and as well, I will get back to the discussion. My dream is to live in Edinburgh, which I believe is the most
Yeah,
beautiful
that's
city
where I
on
just
earth.
came from, bro. I just came from
Well,
Edinburgh. I was there like 8, 9 years
greatest
with my
city
ex-partner.
in
Just over
the
9 years.
world, and I'm from Rome, and I
You think
say
so?
Edinburgh is the greatest
I
city
mean,
in
it's
the
okay
world.
if see if you're a tourist, bro, it's all right. But when you know everybody and you're in fucking bits and bobs and trouble with people and fighting, because it's quite a violent place, Scotland. Especially like if you're not a tourist, you grow up there with people. People settle their fucking disagreements, fist fighting, man. That's how I've fucking grown up. People just want to fight all the time, man. I've
I
had
can
4
imagine.
separate fights because of flat Earth, bro. I've took the ball away from them, and two of them. The last time it was 2 of them on me. One of them sucker punched me right in the fucking left eyeball, man. Literally right bang, doing. I heard it vibrating through my full head, right in the eyeball, man.
Sorry
Fucking
to hear
asshole.
that.
Hey guys, real quick. This has been a good chat. I want to move this into the live stream since it's so quiet in there. You guys okay with that or what?
I'm staying here.
All right, cool. I'm gonna move Spake up
Yeah,
to the live stream in
I
one.
will
I'll move the room.
probably have to go in. I guess 10, 15 minutes, but
All right, sounds good.
Check this out. I came in here to listen to see what's going on because there is nothing going on in the live stream, and so yeah, that's a good idea. That's cool. That's why I wanted to listen. I was like, "What the fuck? There's too many people in check-in. When you should be in the live stream."
Well, thanks for joining me here. I was getting kind of lonely.
Welcome everyone.
Yes, we got leonbag93, new to this server. Found us through some Facebook group talking about flat Earth debates, whatnot. Yeah, some other stuff as well.
He's a highly esteemed Facebook globe researcher. Ask him anything.
Yeah, you guys catch everybody up on what was going on in the VC check, and just catch everybody up on that.
Well, I think Liam was just saying that there are many proofs of the globe, and then we were just trying to get one of those.
I'd like one of those too, please.
I think
yeah, I want some of that shit too. I want some of that globe crack.
So repeat yourself, Leon.
Go ahead, Leon.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I believe we were talking about the Foucault pendulum, and then we just drew Edinburgh.
All right, that is where it went. Yeah, we're trying to establish whether the pendulum is an experiment.
Hell no.
Yeah,
Right.
it's certainly a test,
It's
and
a
the test
demonstration
comes from
of something, you know.
yeah.
But I did ask you if it followed the scientific method, though, and that's why we had to go through that. So if we were on the same page about actual science, you know, scientific experiment.
To follow the scientific, I mean, a same experiment can and cannot follow a scientific process based on the hypothesis and based on the conclusion that you draw from it.
If you can, you have a natural observer. What's your natural observed phenomena in that demonstration? You believe it's moving by something else naturally, correct?
If you have a Foucault pendulum and you see the movement, how it moves, and you isolate as much as possible, then you have.
So, what do you suppose is being isolated, Leon? The rotation of Earth?
In the Foucault pendulum, yes, I believe it is.
Well, how do you know that exists in the first place to isolate it?
A number of observation, I believe, when it comes.
Isn't this the observation that proves it?
Yeah, you're supposed to have a naturally occurring phenomenon. So what would that observation be?
Well, I believe the movements of the stars. One like.
Or that's just the stars moving. That's
Yeah,
not
because
observing the Earth moving.
you just said it yourself. The movements of the stars.
Yes, the relative movements of the star to the observer.
Well, how do you know they're relative in that you're the thing that's moving and they're actually stationary?
Okay. With that music, what I would ask is how much I win if I answer correctly.
$1 million.
That's good. That would absolutely solve all my financial problems, which are not few. And I'm really sorry if I have to think about this, but again, I'm not definitely an astrophysicist.
Oh, good, bro. Take your time.
How could I prove that it's us moving and not the stars moving above us?
Yeah, because you see the stars move, right? That's the actual observation. To say
no, I was thinking.
Go
Let's say that I pick another example and then try to make a parallel, a simile between the two. And I was thinking about, well, you are in a car, you see things moving at the window, but what you can do to prove that was wait a minute. What you can do to prove it that was you moving is just stopping the car, pulling out, and then you see that things are fucking not moving.
I would call that a false analogy because you can't stop the car as far as it goes for the Earth.
And that's it's exactly what I was saying. It's not a good analogy, exactly because you can stop the car and you cannot, get out of the planet in sort of way. So I was thinking about something else. I was just, expressing my train of thought. How could I prove without well, I might say that you can see from outside, but obviously it's not something that I can propose here, and something that I have not witnessed because I'm not an astronaut. I can just say that I don't know the answer to that question, not at the moment. I would have to
That's a
think
fair answer.
I mean,
that's the right answer. You win $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I can give you my address and you can send it to me.
I mean, that's good. You're being honest. You know, if you don't know, you don't know. That's cool. That's
yes,
fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you think that the scientific community, from all the records we got, and so forth, has already been established, about the globe model, basically about everything, the rotation, everything.
Yeah, and I think that the people working on it have established a model based obviously not on a single observation, because a model wouldn't work like that in any science, as in linguistics, although it's a soft science, linguistics, not
I
a
would
hard
assume
one.
through a scientific experiment, at least, don't you think?
I
To
believe
establish those
a
claims.
number of at least a number of experiments. One single experiment, especially if repeated only once, couldn't definitely make the cut.
No, I'm talking about. We take a rotation, for example. Do you
Yeah.
know any scientific experiment that they have proven to be true, to be working, or in their favor, basically?
I know that the pendulum is a test of the rotation. I wouldn't know any. Don't come to my mind right at the moment. I'm not even checking internet because, I wouldn't like to say something that I don't know by myself. So I thinking about it.
I mean, you can search for it. It's fine. No one's gonna.
Yeah, but
bite your
I mean,
fingers.
I mean, if it has to do with my own research, I will certainly do it. But now I'm discussing with you. I don't want to lose time looking at stuff that
All right.
that just paused the conversation.
Just can I ask a question? Earlier you said we can't get off the planet, but then later on you said you didn't want to use Google because you don't want to talk about stuff that you don't know about for yourself. So my question to you is, how do you know that you're in a planet?
How do you know that I am on a planet? and I mean, by a planet, you mean like a globe, or like how do I know that I'm standing on something? I just don't understand what's the point of the question? Sorry.
You've already assumed that
Yeah.
you're on a planet. So I want to know, where does that assume? If it's just an assumption, then okay, it's a belief. You want to believe it. But if you said again, you don't want to say stuff that you don't know yourself. So how do you know? From where does the assumption come that you're on a planet? And the word planet is not a mysterious word. It's a word that's used plenty of times all over the place. It's not a. I'm not using an ambiguous word.
I know that we are.
I was just
I know that
asking.
we are on Earth, and Earth, I believe it's a planet that it's within the solar system, and
So where does that belief come from? How do you know you're on a planet?
I believe that I'm on a planet because, for example, something that I have seen are all the planets through not a microscope but a telescope. And I've seen others, and I've seen also pictures of others.
But that doesn't tell you that this is one. There's really no resemblance to those things to this place. So to say other, I don't know if that.
You don't look at the ceiling to determine the shape of your floor.
And you don't look at an unverifiable picture to determine the shape of it either. I can show you a picture of Donkey Kong. Does that mean that he's real?
Also, I have this thing.
Donkey Kong is absolutely real. He's a character, and it's a real character. I mean, obviously, what you mean by real means
physical.
I'm just playing. I mean, of course, I'm just playing. Obviously,
I have a line, Leon. I have a line. I say telescopes don't whisper in your ear. So you use the telescope, but it doesn't provide the details that people typically add. So when you say like want to see other planets, it doesn't necessarily. I don't.
Well,
think
that's not simply. It's not simply something that you assume. It's part of process also of deduction, by means that if there are other things in the same system, and all things,
Kind of assuming the system though, and you're assuming that the Earth is a thing with a bunch of other things like it in that system. There's a lot of assumptions going on there.
There's also no resemblance of this place to those things that you see. I was just typing in the chat. Those things are glowing and moving. When I look around here, I don't see don't see this place glowing or moving. So there's really
You
nothing you can
don't.
compare up there to here.
I don't think that they're glowing. Oh,
Uh, what? What?
not if glowing is a property of something that has light by itself, I believe.
Well,
I
don't
mean,
get too hung up on the word. I'm just saying
something.
that they seem bright. They seem light. Whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
of course.
when
But
we, when we
I
look
mean,
around this place,
if
doesn't
you
do that.
if you point light to a mirror, the mirror obviously is extremely bright. That, but that doesn't mean that
But
the
see that
mirror
this
has
place
light by
isn't doing
itself.
that. This place isn't doing that. So there's really nothing up there to compare. There's no resemblance whatsoever. So I wouldn't look up and say, okay, well, I must be like those things when there's no resemblance.
We reflect light. We do.
Uh,
I mean, scientifically speaking, we do. That's
not
we
ground.
reflect uh, as, waves
But yeah, but
which is
Leon,
why we see different colors.
anything you can see reflects light. So what does that tell us? Does it tell us we're on a spinning ball in a vacuum of space? Because that's what we're trying to get to.
I'm trying to answer the precise question, so I would not answer to if that proves that we are on a spinning ball, because I don't believe that it does. It's not that proving that, I mean, at least. But again, everything reflects light in a way. It's the necessary assumption by which we know that by which we sorry, I rephrase. It's our understanding of why we see different colors, that everything reflects light in different ways. That's
Okay,
necessary.
that's fine, but that's not. We're still trying to get at the fact that there's no
Okay.
resemblance of this place to those things. So I don't think we should be as quick to compare them. So like Earth, the land.
Okay.
When you look up in the sky,
So
there's no land up
what
there.
what would you answer to an astronaut that comes back to Earth, or
Well,
let's
bro,
say allegedly,
Prove it. Prove it.
allegedly, and the astronaut says, "Well, you're invited to the next launch."
that's just personal testimony and future proof. I don't think we can really accept that.
So going to a launch to watch a rocket go in the air means Earth is a globe.
No, it means that those that are inside the rocket go somewhere.
You don't
Your
know
time out.
there's nobody in there waving to you that you watch lift off and they're still waving to you as they're lifting off. That doesn't happen. That's not reality.
I, I wouldn't say it's not reality. I would say that it's something that you are not witnessing
It's not
precisely.
ever happened. Nobody goes in rockets.
I okay. Let's start from a position, a neutral position.
Brother.
So if I make the claim that somebody is going into space, I have to prove it. Obviously, of course, I have to prove it, and that's what I am not capable to do at the moment.
The hard part is that you have to first prove space itself.
I have to prove space itself, and with space we mean the void beyond the atmosphere. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
of course I have to prove that. And I would prove, like, in my opinion, sending somebody outside the atmosphere would be quite a great evidence for that.
Okay, tell me about the last time you did that, Leon.
As I said, I cannot prove it because I didn't
God
personally.
damn it. We were so close.
Just to say, the reason I asked my question again, you said that you didn't want to use information that you didn't know for yourself. You're bringing up stuff that you don't know for yourself. I'm just waiting for the information that you have that you know for yourself of why you think to on a planet.
I tell you now. Getting back to what I was asking. my problem here in this particular line of questioning is that by doubting anything that you have not done personally, you would have to doubt, I would say, 99% of every type of experience and every time. I'm sorry, I'm not using this as a kind of an argument. I'm not saying this to prove space. Not through this line of arguments. I know that I can't.
So this is a long-winded appeal to just trust people.
Things aren't just auto true. That's why
No,
a lot
it's not.
of what we do here is try to go with a fine-tooth comb and find out if X claim is true. So we don't just discard everything or just auto accept everything. So just keep that in mind. We try to address each claim individually.
Okay, can I try to make an argument?
Well, listen, I'll trust the people who say that we
let's
live on a spinning ball in a vacuum as soon as they provide some evidence for it. How about that?
Okay, and my question would be, why don't you accept evidence such as those provided by the I would say alleged astronauts, since now we are on a
What would that
skeptic
What evidence?
Because you said they are alleged, so why would we believe an alleged thing?
I said alleged by the context in which we are talking.
But specifically, what would that evidence be?
Like, for example, pictures.
Well, you don't just
or
auto
for example,
accept
the
again,
rocks.
Leon.
All the rocks.
Oh, well, but no one's brought any rocks. So
Rocks
don't
that
worry
have
about that.
been taken back from the
No
moon.
one did that. No one did that.
Hey, Leon, have you seen Jupiter through a Nikon P1000 camera?
No, I have not
It
seen
looks.
Jupiter.
You can look it up. It looks nothing like what space agencies show us. It doesn't look globular at all.
It doesn't look
globular.
But again, pictures though, how do you verify those? I could give you a picture of Donkey Kong, right? Just because something is in a picture doesn't mean that it's representative of something in reality necessarily.
Yeah, it doesn't follow logic, Leon, if you think about it. No way to test, no way to verify.
Or in other words, just because someone shows you an image of something doesn't mean that that's a photograph.
What? Let me, if I can, make an argument, a similar argument, and try to arrive to a conclusion of this line of questioning. And that would be, let's stay on the let's stay on Earth, whatever shape it is, and let's say Mount Everest. I believe that a few hundred people, few hundreds, have been on the summit of Mount Everest. I don't know
Is that
precise number. But my question would be, since of the sum of Mount Everest, we have pictures and the personal experience of a handful of people.
Okay.
Do you believe it?
Well, what's their testimony? Believe what?
That they've been there.
Sure. It's not an extraordinary claim, really. It's kind of extraordinary, but not extraordinary like I went to a thermodynamics violation in the sky that you can never go to.
Thermodynamic. Why a thermodynamic? And I ask really because I know absolutely nothing of thermodynamics.
Okay, well, it's the second law of thermodynamics that the claim of outer space violates, right? High pressure must go to low pressure always, right? So if we have this adjacent, like near perfect vacuum going on practically forever, the air pressure of the Earth that you call the atmosphere should disperse into that, right? Should fill that vacuum.
Why would that be?
Because that's the way gas behaves, that's the way pressure behaves. It's fundamental laws of nature, entropy.
Yeah, but and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm really remembering like high school classes here. The outer part of the atmosphere is not a high pressure system. It's not high pressurized.
It should disperse into that adjacent vacuum.
Why?
Everything,
I just told you.
everything in our
Yeah, but
experience,
you said high
everything,
pressure from nearly null pressure, which is a vacuum. But since it's no high pressure, why would that disperse? I mean, the dispersion that we see, for example.
So basically, what you're saying is that the low pressure at the end of the so-called atmosphere holds in all the higher pressure. That doesn't make any sense because that layer right next to the vacuum that should disperse. Then everything beyond that should all just disperse after that.
Yeah, whether it's high pressure or low pressure, it would disperse into no pressure.
It is gradual to null pressure. It's not like there is a
No.
step. At least as I believe it is. I'm really speaking out of
Would you be able to
vague
demonstrate? Are you aware of anybody who's ever demonstrated such a thing, like in a vacuum chamber in a controlled setting? Because that's not the way gas behaves. If you release it into a vacuum chamber, it won't do that. It won't form into balls that just stay that way and don't fill the vacuum.
I'm really afraid to say that that's because of gravity, but I know
Okay,
that
gravity. So now we got gravity as a container. Are you aware of an experiment for gravity containing air?
gravity as a containing. No, gravity is not. I don't believe it's containing it. I believe it's attracting.
Okay, well, something has to contain the atmosphere.
Something has to. Why something has to?
Because that's the nature of air pressure. It needs containing, right? So instead of a physical container, you've given us gravity. So is there an experiment that shows gravity containing air?
Sorry, I'm really trying to. Oh, fuck! I also. Oh, sorry. Sorry for the f bomb. I just occurred to me that I had to go. But I think that I can stay for a few minutes. So I'm trying to picture this, and I'm really sorry, but it's not my field of study, so I have difficulties in picturing everything. So I imagine something like what happens, like in let's take airplane, which is pressurized, and so like fortunately I never witnessed it, but like in films, in movies, what happens is that like someone throws or shoot a gun or throws a grenade, the cockpit or the airplane opens, and due to the difference of pressure, everything gets sucked out.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but that's because you have a very high difference of pressure in a limited space, which is, and the limited space is surrounded by a
Well, Leon,
container.
yes, that's the important part is that
Okay,
you only
it's
have that
that you
pressure
have
due to the containment. Correct. So,
okay, but now the moment in which the pressure.
Yeah, they can get that pressure in the cockpit, but hey, without the container, right? Of the oh shit. Maybe I'm lagging. My bad. Sorry. Go ahead.
I believe somebody was talking.
oh, Heretic, you're fine. There's just extra some audio coming through. Maybe turn your speaker down a little bit.
Okay.
I'm fine. But yeah, the important point, Leon, you seem like you understand. You need the containment for the pressure. You don't get the pressure
But
without it.
you need the container. But the fact is, as I understand it, is that we usually say the air gets sucked out. No, that's what we usually say, no, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we can phrase it that way, but just think of any
The dif-
example where you have maybe like a car tire. If there's a puncture, it's not like it's getting sucked out. It's just losing pressure. That's that second law of thermodynamics, the entropy that Heretic was
it's
describing earlier.
it's the pressure inside the wheel that pushes the air outside because there is a lower pressure.
Yeah, high pressure moves to low pressure.
But you listen. You couldn't get that higher pressure inside the tire, right? Without the rubber tire, without the containment of the rubber tire, right?
Of course there is, because there is nothing containing it. I mean, you need the container to have that kind of high pressure.
There you go. So what? So okay. What sort of containment of air like that can you point to that was caused by gravity?
No, I don't. I don't believe. I mean, I believe that that the gases and everything that have composed the Earth,
That's what
blah
you're
blah 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 blah.
that's what you're saying. That's what you're
That's what.
saying though, is that we have that kind of air pressure here due to gravity instead of a
No, but
physical
what?
container.
Since we have a column of air, which is the reason, like for example, we have different boiling points of water depending on the altitude. Then you have a higher pressure, and as you go up, you have a lower pressure.
Well, there's a gradient.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you said, sorry. Could you repeat that?
yeah, there's a gradient, but to have a gradient, you first have to have the air pressure. And as far as we know, and as far as we can demonstrate, to first have the air pressure, you have to have a container.
Okay.
Unless somebody can demonstrate air being contained due to gravity.
Yo,
Again,
hello.
I do not believe that. I mean, containing is external from to internal. I mean, contain something
Stop
that you
it
do
from
from.
filling the adjacent, like near perfect vacuum volume.
But I don't believe it's gravity.
But that's what you said it is.
If I
The
said
atmosphere.
that, I absolutely said something that I do not believe.
You don't think that gravity contains the atmosphere?
Or
stops it from filling the void of space? Whatever you
no,
want to say.
I believe that the reason why air doesn't get into space is because of the what do you call data? The gradient? I didn't know the particular word, but I believe that the reason is because at the higher part and the higher stages of the atmosphere, you have a gradual.
Okay, but why? What
Lower,
causes
lower, lower.
So then, what are you saying causes the
That is Super
gradient?
Mario.
What causes the gradient, though?
What causes the gradient? Oh, I have absolutely no idea.
Well, then what's the point in pointing to it? Just because it's getting thinner and thinner doesn't mean that it should get to a near perfect vacuum, 10 to the negative 17 torr, that just goes on practically forever.
Well, depending in the direction, I guess. You might encounter other atmospheres.
Yeah, but why would you assume that either? Like, why do we think that it's going practically to nothing and it's just going to go on like that forever? We don't know that just from the pressure going from high to lower, just as far as we can measure.
Right now, this guy is he's telling us what he believes, but I still don't see any demonstration for what he believes.
You definitely want to ask a physicist about the demonstration.
Well, they'll say that gravity. Yeah, but they'll say that gravity causes the gradient, right? And causes the containment of the atmosphere. That's why I keep bringing it back to that.
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know. I have a friend who's a physicist. He works with complex systems, so I don't know if he knows a lot about astrophysics, but I will ask him.
Well, that's what they'll say. That's the script. That's the lore, right? And then whenever we'll ask for a demonstration of that, an experiment that shows that gravity does that, they won't have it, and they'll say that it only works on scales that are impossible to test on. So it's just kind of like a cool story, bro. You got to trust us.
Additionally, how is it that if you I'm asking you for evidence and you say ask somebody else, so that means you don't have evidence. That means this is just a belief. You have no basis for this belief.
Okay, I have a question and a point to make.
It's I believe it's plenty of things in our experience of which we do not have evidence ourselves.
I have a question.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sorry to say that after that I really have to go. But
Okay.
I hope that I will be welcome another time.
Okay, is it possible to believe in a flat Earth and not believe in God?
Yeah, I
Like,
guess.
not is it
I guess
possible,
so.
right? But is it like probable? Would you say that most flat earthers believe in God?
No, I wouldn't say that most flat earthers believe in God. I would perhaps say that most of those that I have encountered have also and also shared believe both in flat Earth and in God. But I would like to point out that I come from theological discussions, and then I got into flat Earth. So perhaps the problem is simply that that from the theological perspective, I saw many believing the flat Earth. So I do not want to project my sense of those group into the group of flat Earthers.
Okay, but you believe in God, right?
No, I don't.
You don't? You're a flat earther?
No, I'm not a flat Earther.
Okay, why the fuck am I talking to you?
I have no idea, my man.
Yeah, I wanted to ask like a flat earther if they think most flat earthers believe in God.
We're just talking with
And
Leon right now. He's a glober. We're just having a conversation with him.
okay, let me just make my point then, right? I would say most flat earthers believe in God. And I think right, I obviously think that like the globe earth is I think the globe is was made to for an attack on Jesus, right? Because in Genesis it talks about the firmament in like the first page, and it talks about the waters above and what I think. Yeah, it says waters above. I think something like that. Anyways, I
May,
think it
may
was
I
made
may
to
I
attack.
ask
No, no,
may
let me
I
finish.
ask a
Just let me
question?
finish. Just
Okay,
let
of
me finish.
course,
Just let me finish.
absolutely.
I think it was. I think. Right. Personally, I think like almost everything is an attack on Jesus, right? But this is like, I think this is the biggest attack on Jesus because if you can imagine that everyone started believing that the Earth is flat, I think because there is I think there is more atheists in the world right now than believers in God, right? And this is because of the globe, I think, because people believe in space and shit, and people believe in like a chance, like a chance, like we are here by chance, and uh,
To be honest,
fuck, kind of
I
lost my
think that atheists could probably
like,
rationalize things that way, no matter what the Earth was. But I hear you.
but they
I hear you.
wouldn't
But
though. I don't think
if
they would,
if
man,
I can
because if they started
if I can
if they
try to
if people if the common knowledge was that the earth is flat, then everything would change, right? I don't believe in space at all. I think
Mhm.
i I don't know, I think the earth is infinite or something, I don't know, I just don't believe in space, right? I believe in Jesus, I don't know, but I think this is like the ultimate attack on Jesus is like convincing people that space exists and like
well
the universe
look
is infinite
if I
and things like that.
if I can
That's
This
say
is
a
fair.
like
last
the
thing,
main
and then
thing.
I swear I shut up. Also because I have to go. So this last thing, I come from a Catholic family. I was born and I live in Rome. So you may get what's the
Buongiorno.
environment. Buongiorno a te. Um,
Catholics brought us the heliocentric system, or well, they brought us the Big Bang, at least.
Well,
Thanks.
yes, the church has then, let's say, submitted to what scientists presented as evidence. At what
No,
they presented,
Big
to what
Bang,
they
Big Bang.
presented,
I, I,
I didn't say that it's necessarily
I'm
true. But
saying that
just,
the big. Hey, I'm saying that the Big Bang itself was proposed by a Catholic priest.
oh yes, oh,
Yeah,
no, that's true. Sorry, I
yeah,
didn't get
because
it.
that's they're Satanists. They're Satanists. Vatican
Well,
is the center of Satan, I believe.
look. If I believed in Satan, I would absolutely agree with you because that's more or less what I how much I trust church, but on other grounds. That said, I come from a Catholic family. All my not my brother, but my parents, my grandmother, and most of people that I know are Catholic, more or less, or in the sense that perhaps they are not exactly Catholic, but they believe in God. Most of them, I would say, are also they believe in a globe Earth,
Yeah,
and so
part.
what I believe is that they are not exclusive. Like you say that the globe is the ultimate attack to Jesus. Uh,
Yes.
I I I I do not believe that that's necessarily true. And again I don't believe in Jesus. Well,
Yeah,
I
but
do
that's
not
because
believe.
you don't believe what I believe. I mean, that's obvious,
No,
right?
absolutely,
I'm
no,
saying like
absolutely. I'm
most.
I'm talking in a total hypothetical setting. What I'm saying is that even if I believed, or let's rephrase it, giving for granted that Jesus is has been a real living person, but that is also the Son of God, and blah blah blah. I remember a bit of my catechism. If we give that for granted, I do not believe that believing in a globe is exclusive to that. I just think that many things can be, together. Since actually in history we see a great change in the doctrine in every religion. The first, I mean, that I don't think there is something that can be said against it. Just the New Testament is a proof that something changed in the doctrine. So I believe that the real appeal of religion is also its ability to stick up with the time. And this is notwithstanding the truthfulness of the doctrine itself.
But Jesus did not want to make a religion. All Jesus wanted was to follow him, right? I think I think Catholicism is evil as well, and it's Satanist, right? The only thing humans should do is follow Jesus, not make a religion. But they made a religion because of Satan, because Satan influences our minds all the time. So
Look,
people
I
made a
don't
religion
I
in order
don't
to make a
believe
profit or like control the
I
people.
do not believe in
The only thing you
Satan,
should
but
do
I
is
believe
follow
in
Jesus
everything you
I
and
think
follow
said.
Jesus as
I
example.
think we need to
absolutely
just
believe in everything you said.
we need to just put a cap on the religious
But you don't.
segment.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
try
sorry.
to get it back to the facts.
And
Ground.
getting back,
But
I
why do you
will.
censor? Why do you censor? Why do you censor religious talk and flat Earth?
Well,
That
because
doesn't make sense to me
we're
because
just
it's
trying to
correlated.
The
get
discussion
we're
wasn't
just
about
trying to get
religion.
his
No,
evidence though for the globe Earth, right?
Okay, my bad, my
You
bad.
don't,
I'm gonna go anyways because my battery is dead. Anyways,
All right.
and,
keep
you
talking.
don't censor.
I
If
will
you need
also
access,
say goodbye.
access
I'm
to
really
religious
sorry. I hope
sections,
that
you
I
can
come
have
back
access.
perhaps and continue the discussion. Unfortunately, I really have to go. It's much later than I hoped. So,
Nice
but
meeting you.
I
Nice
really have
meeting you.
to thank you.
Yeah, you've
I
been
really
good
enjoyed this confrontation.
Yeah, you'll be
come
cool, man.
back.
You'll be cool. Come back
It
again.
hasn't been that good, but come back
I
anytime.
next time I hope, if you will, do some more
I
research.
can't hear anybody, so I don't
Wait,
know
can't
if.
hear?
Oh,
Hello?
yeah, now I
Test.
can
Do you
hear
hear
you.
me? Okay, go ahead,
Yes,
Quest.
yes.
No, I just want to say you're welcome back, of course. You seem like a decent, cool guy to have a discussion with. But next time, hopefully, if you can bring some more,
I will do my
substance
research.
to the topics we discuss here. Now you know what
Yeah,
we're about.
absolutely.
Yeah, we don't
Well, you're
believe in.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. You're
Yeah,
welcome to
just
do your research here too. Sorry, you didn't go, so I just
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
but you
delayed.
can come here and ask questions. You seem pretty chill in conversation, so feel free to hang out here and talk to us anytime.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Again, being a researcher myself in my particular field of study, which is linguistics, I know that if somebody wants to learn something, the first thing that I has to do is to be a chill person when having a conversation about it. So, I mean, I really appreciate. I would appreciate being the other part, not being in any way confrontational or abusive or in any way. So I always try not to be.
No. We're not attacking you when it comes to the globe when we discuss
No,
about.
it's the topic. It's
the
always about the
topic
topic.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's what
Again,
I mean.
thank you and have a nice whatever phase of the day it's where you are.
Likewise, man. Take care. All right.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.